Hello everyone, there is Group 10. My name is Jiannan. Before the presentation, I would like to introduce my teammate. Big Boss Nitin Saini, Handsome Boy Shen-Wei Chuang, and Beauty Jiaming Chen. Thanks to their work and efforts, let us help the world getting better. Our project is text mining on coronavirus research paper. COVID-19 pandemic has managed to create a huge impact on the world. It did not give us the time to understand what was happening and speak too quickly. It has been almost 4 months now and still have the whole healthcare industry trying to figure out what was the treatment for this pandemic. Also, it has been very difficult to understand how it spreads and what are the symptoms of COVID-19 in general. It looks more like a flu, but it is far more dangerous than that. Hence, it is very important for us to understand everything possible about the virus. Understanding the way of how the virus spreads and affects people would enable us to protect ourselves more efficiently. Take a look to our content. The first part is introduction. Go, dataset, and prepare. And then is process, analysis, and after fine-tuning, we get the result. Through the text mining process, like as text parsing, which display the overall information about COVID-19, open research dataset by clustering the terms, calculate the attributes frequency, and text filtering, which goes through the whole dataset and reshape the text that is prepared to be analyzed. Let us focus more on the important keywords to make the better analysis. Creating a stop list could also help us to show a better result from clustering by comparing the process with the default setting. As you see, our goal is analyze over 52,000 research papers from 2003 to 2019, the source of the COVID-19, and we want to find a treatment option. Take a look to the dataset. The first one is called UID, the unique ID of the scholarly article presented in the dataset. The second one is the source X. It is classification, article source with value PMC. The third is the title. This means there are entity which doesn't have the title available in the dataset. The last one is an abstract.
So there is no stop list we can use by hand. So we create a stop list to exclude the least important words in the abstract content like coronavirus, above, zero, worry, academic. Those words are useless in our analysis. And we keep words like logistic, regression, trial. Those words make contribution to the results. And in the end, there are 12,000 words total to be eliminated. Next, please. And we use 4 steps to process our analysis. Text parsing, which is to convert all the research papers into the list, into an array, and text filtering to filter the words and terms, and the text clustering to combine them together, and text topic to decompose the content into words and terms. Next, please. And first, we add stop list. Any words in this list would appear then as keep as the sign in the results of the term table. Next. Here we set the frequency weighting to log and term weight to inverse document frequency, which could measure important words and scale up real terms and weight down frequent terms. Here are some results from the filtering. Next. You can see the relative terms like virus and infection both link to the isolation, causative agent indicating the respiratory virus, spreading method, and the most direct way to respond to the spread. And other terms like next. Other terms like treatment and vaccine both are linking to the clinical sort, implying the recognition of the disease in the medical field. Those widths of the line shows the strength of the connection between these concepts. The terms like this implies the recognition of the disease in the medical field probably is not that sufficient and still needs to get more details for the vaccine development. Next.
Okay, so we tried different maximum cluster number, and the result told us the 22, the default, which created by the SAS, is the best one, which gave us like more meaningful cluster. For example, like the cluster 2 over here, bat species, human, and emerge best species, mammal, something like that, is talking about what is the origin of the virus. And that we can look at the 13, like health, spread, epidemic, country, pandemic, influenza. So this word will it's like the virus will spread all over the world like the influenza. And we can also look at the fourth one, like health, China, emerge, spread, like public, Wuhan. So this gives us some information. The virus might come from Wuhan, China, and will become epidemic. And then we go to the next note, the next topic. So we change some weight for several terms, which we think that will gather some relevant word like virus, long, host, cellular. So we expect they can gather some relevant word together and make some meaningful cluster. However, the result tells us like this one, we can see all the word we change, we increase their weight, they gather together themselves, become a useless cluster. However, other clusters such as treatment, syndrome, medical method, this cluster come out after we change our weight. So even we didn't get the result what we expect to get, however, our model is getting better after we changing it. Nitin?
So since the goal of the whole project was to go through these 52,000 research papers and understand anything about coronavirus, we decided to categorize those things into 5 or 6 categories. First of that was to identify if we can figure out the origin of this virus, from where did it originate and how did it all start, and also about the host species, which species was the one that started all this virus initially. Then we also wanted to understand what are the potential symptoms of this virus, what body parts does it affect, uh, how severe is it, and how long does it take to figure out we have that virus. And then also we wanted to see what is the impact of this virus, how far this can travel, what are the methods through which it can travel, and what is happening in the medical industry to basically treat this particular virus. So in order to do that, we went through these 52,000 papers using text mining in SAS and figured out a lot many things. First of it was based on the cluster that Luca mentioned. it seemed to be originated from Wuhan in China, and it is also validated by the news that we are seeing since January 1. So we know that the first country that it affected was China. So it makes sense by reading all these papers that this cluster is showing us the name of Wuhan in China. Second is the host species is a bat, and it was transmitted to humans through the fecal matter. So this also is validated again because there are a lot of theories going on, and most common is that it transmitted from a bat to another animal, and then from that animal to human, which kind of is validated here. So based on these 52,000 research papers, we were able to make a cluster out of it. The third that we analyzed is that this coronavirus has the potential to spread all around the world and become an epidemic because one of the clusters had keywords like spread, pandemic, world, global, emerge. So these keywords kind of convey a meaning that this virus is has the potential to be a pandemic, and we saw that happening over the last few months. It started from just one country and then started following all other countries. The next one was focused on symptoms, and there are very specific keywords regarding that, saying that this virus affects lungs of the infected person, and then that person tends to have acute respiratory problems, and it also has symptoms similar to pneumonia, which makes sense because when we are seeing the news lately, we see that all the affected people have uh, cough, cold, and then they have breathing problems, and they have to be hospitalized in many cases, which means that this problem is severe, right? And then the last one that we realized or we figured out was that even though this virus was identified long back, but there has been very little study done on it since there has been keywords related to medical science, for example, clinical, preclinical, protein, hospital, and I mean these keywords are all related, and that means that we do not have a solid treatment plan in hand as of now. Even I mean, after going through all these papers, we realize that all of the treatments that are still there, most of them are in the clinical stage. So I mean, all what we figured out, we have been validating it based on the news that we are watching. So it makes sense based, I mean, our analysis makes a lot of sense in that uh, way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
How was it?